My name is Kathy Brown, and my husband is Jim, and my son is Patrick. And we have been part of Days of 76 Rodeo and Parade for about 30 years. Now, I know that some people are saying, well, I've been part of the Days of 76 for longer than that. And that is true. There are many, many families who have been a part of this celebration for 100 years. And that's what we're celebrating this week, is the 100th celebration of the Days of 76. And I am just so proud to be a part of it. Sometimes I get a little emotional, and I know a lot of other people do. This Days of 76 celebration is about the rodeo, it's about the parade, but it's about more than that. It's about families, it's about tradition, and it's about relationships. There are families who come to the Days of 76, and this is their vacation. They will help at the rodeo, they will help at the parade. This becomes part of an annual event for many, many families. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about our experience with the Days of 76. 30 years ago, we used to start the Days of 76 in the depths of the Black Hills. We would bring our teams, our horses, our wagons, and we'd hook up with Cope and Louise Porterfield from Belfouche. And their son, Scott, is still a part of our Days of 76 celebration, bringing his team to all of our parades. Cope and Louise had a wagon train that would start way back in the Black Hills, and day after day, we would drive our teams and ride our horses just a little bit closer to Deadwood and the rodeo and the parade. We would be in places like Bowles Canyon and Rochford, and we would spend the night in our tents or in the back of our horse trailer, and in the morning we'd saddle up, we'd hook up our teams, and we'd ride and drive just a little bit closer to the Days of 76. And when we got to the top of 385 and we would drive those teams down into the gulch, it was like nothing you've ever seen before. There were strings of wagons and strings of riders that came down and into Deadwood, down Main Street, and there was nothing like the clip-clop of those horses on the cobblestone. And then we'd head down into the rodeo grounds. And back in the day, it wasn't the fancy tarred road around the rodeo grounds. It was a dirt track around those rodeo grounds. And the Teamsters would park next to the contestants. I remember one year Joe Beaver pulled in, famous PRCA cowboy. He pulled in and he had a motorhome, and we just thought that was the biggest deal, that there was this motorhome that none of us had seen anything like that before. So that was fun. I can remember making pancakes in our trailer, and I would pass them out the door of the horse trailer to cowboys that came by in the morning, and those were great memories. And of course, our 10 o'clock parade on Saturday morning came early because there was a bit of revelry going on Friday night. So Saturday morning was the time where all of us had to get up and get going and get ready for that parade. And we went to the costume room, and I'll never forget the year that I got to be Poker Alice, and I got to smoke that little stub of a cigar, and it was just such a great memory for me. As our son Patrick was born and became part of the Days of 76, I can remember him getting up on the old hook and ladder with Jim, his dad, and me, and we would ride through the parade, and Patrick would have his little stick horse stuck between his legs, and it was just so exciting to just be a part of the parade and go down Main Street and see all the fans and all the people. And when I think about it now, I think those people too were a big part of the Days of 76. There are families that sit at that parade, the Tischer family. They have sat at that parade in front of the Franklin for many, many, many years. And they will be there this weekend too. Family, tradition, relationships. It's what this parade is all about. Not too long ago, I think just a couple of weeks ago, I talked to a former contestant, Jamie Willard from Dakota, South Dakota. He was a saddle bronc rider, and he was reminiscing about coming to the days of '76. He said to me, I remember walking up those old wooden steps of the Crow's Nest and registering with the secretary. And you could see it on Jamie's face. Just that was such a precious memory for him. He also talked about the friendships he made while he was in Deadwood and while he rode. And most of all, he talked about the fact that this was his rodeo. This was his hometown rodeo, and he still has such wonderful memories. As a matter of fact, he and his wife Christy were married about the time that he rode, and I remember the whole wedding party in the grandstand cheering on Jamie when he rode, right around the time that he and Christy got married. Jim and I were married out here during the days of '76, and that has always had a special memory for us. So every year at the days of '76, we celebrate our wedding anniversary. Many, many people have events like that they celebrate. And we're just so happy to be a part of it. You know, when we talk about family and tradition, I could name names. I could name the Bashan family and the Roberts family and the Rogers family and the Nelson family and many, many other families that I'm not even mentioning. But there are parents, grandparents, grandchildren, great-grandchildren that are a part of this rodeo today. And we'll be in a different state and we'll have a Deadwood shirt on, and somebody will come up to us and say, I love that rodeo. That is a great rodeo. I announce at the parade now, and many, many times people will walk up to me and say, I just learned so much about the history of Deadwood. And that's what our parade is about. It is about the history, but it's also about the people. We have Teamsters that come year after year after year. Not only the Bashan family, but Joe Thorne, the iconic Joe Thorne, comes every year and rides in our parade. There are many, many others that travel from all over South Dakota, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, that come and every year are a part of this tradition. Jim and I are so honored to be a part of it. And our son Patrick, who's now 22, he's out there right now helping work the slack. He actually got Volunteer of the Year one year as an 18-year-old. So that's how much this rodeo means to us and our family. And I know we're not the only ones. I can't wait for the next few days to come when the Teamsters start pulling in and we see those old familiar faces and those old friends, and rekindle those relationships and rekindle the friendships that we've made. So we cannot wait for Wednesday night and the first perf, and then Friday afternoon for the first parade. We are, again, honored to be here. Thank you so much. I just had this land in my hand, and I am beyond excited. I found out that Tony Kitka was making medallions for all of the Days of '76 rodeo champions. And when I found that out, I gave Tony a call, talked to his lovely wife, Paige, and Tony called me right back, and he said, I'll pour you one. And just now, this beautiful Days of '76 100-year medallion was presented to me, and I am thrilled. I am thrilled. Tony numbered it. I got number 9, and on the back it says, Kathleen, cowboy to cowgirl, and Tony signed his name. I am beyond excited about this. I have admired Tony and his work for so long, and to be able to have this right now in my possession and add a little longer rope to it and wear it proudly for every one of the performances and during the parade this week, I'm ecstatic. Thanks, Tony.